Now that Bill Cosby has basically been drummed out of the television business, a woman named Judy Huff has surfaced with a lawsuit charging that he sexually assaulted her at the Playboy Mansion back in 1974. Cosby has filed his own suit saying Huff extorted him by demanding $250,000 for her silence. Celebrity lawyer Gloria Allred called a press conference, as she is wont to do, with 3 Cosby accusers.
It could be advantageous for Mr. Cosby to give up the statute of limitations because there is a huge cloud on his reputation and on his legacy.
I want Mr. Cosby to face justice for what he has done to me and to so many other women.
So are the media being fair in covering these latest allegations? Joining us now from Seattle, Michael Medved, author and syndicated radio talk show host, and here in Washington, Christina Bellantoni, editor-in-chief of Roll Call. Michael, now that Gloria Allred has dived into this case, which is already getting lots and lots of media attention, what does her involvement do to the coverage of the story?
Well, I think it polarizes it, because anything Gloria Allred does polarizes things automatically. I mean, I think the notion that she's looking out for Bill Cosby's reputation is ludicrous. I mean, obviously, one of the things that you've got to say for the Cosby legal team and public relations team is considering the fact that these allegations have been swirling around for at least 14 years. They've done a pretty good job of fending them off so far. The difficulty right now is that just so many women, 26 by latest count, that he's begun to have to pull back. And at age 77, his comeback seems to be at the very, very best stalled. He also had to resign from the board of Temple University, his alma mater.
Everybody's cutting ties. He's become a liability. But let me get Christina in here. This is a very serious story. I mean, you listen to, even if some of these women are not telling the truth, 26 women, as Michael says. But is it now becoming almost an entertainment story for the media?
Well, it's definitely an entertainment story. But what, your last segment on the Rolling Stone piece, and this just really highlight, we're talking about sexual assault in a different way in the media now. Accusers, are going public. People are approaching this differently. And so in some ways, it's great to have a national conversation about something that remains a very serious problem, not just here, but globally. But then the other ways you have it become this media circus, and then everybody's focusing on the he said, she said, when was it, how much money are you going to get out of it? I mean, this is a very serious accusation. It's just so surprising to me how long it took for this to actually become a major national story. I mean, I hadn't been aware of it years ago, but many, many reports had been out there.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say the media for years protected Cosby, Michael, but at the same time now, ours almost, every time any accusation is made are now kind of piling on. Now, he can't be sued because of the statute of limitations. So this woman says, well, I was a minor at the time, 4 decades ago, and I just now realized the pain of being assaulted when I was underage. And Gloria Allred says, well, why don't you voluntarily agreed to be sued? And bingo, it's a story.
Well, I think a lot of this, at least in part, is inspired by the case, which is not that well known in the United States, of Sir Jimmy Savile, who was a very, very popular media figure in Great Britain. He was knighted for it. He was the host of Top of the Pops. And after his death in 2011, 450 credible cases, 28 of them children below the age of 10, of sexual predation, some of them involving drugs, as the allegations against Cosby. And now people believe that to be true. The big question with Jimmy Savile, and I think this is the big question with Cosby, is how could the media have kept it quiet so long when these charges have been swirling around for so long? That, it seems to me, is the real story here that people will get to the bottom of at some point.
But one of the questions for journalists is, how do you prove these allegations, especially when they happen 20, 30, in this latest case, 40 years ago, Christina?
Right. And I mean, I cover politics, not these types of issues, but I can understand
a lot of sex scandals in politics.
How it will be difficult for an editor to say, yeah, go ahead and pursue this. Especially a lot of people don't want to talk. He has not acknowledged any of this. He's never really been asked about this in a public way, until now.
Well, he was asked by the AP, and he tried to get the question and the answer not to be used.
Exactly. And so, but in other ways, this is somebody who was really representative of America and American culture for so many years. Somebody said to me recently that the Senate floor would actually stop and people would go back in the cloakroom and watch the Cosby Show when it was on.
Well, the image has really changed.
Debates.
One of the women who has been very high profile in this is former model Janice Dickinson. She was on MSNBC, and I want to play a little bit of that for the audience.
What's your response to Marty Singer, again, Cosby's lawyer? I think that speaks volumes.
I want Marty Singer. What if someone raped your wife, Marty? You've got daughters, Marty. What if Bill Cosby came and robbed their innocence, Marty? And I say to you, Bill Cosby, I've said it before and I'll say it again. You're one sick puppy.
Michael Medved, you're also a film critic. Is this just evolved into bad theater?
No, it's serious stuff, and I do think that this is going to change things, just like the story you covered about the University of Virginia and Rolling Stone is going to change things, because I think that we have surrounded our mega celebrities with this sort of cone of protection and affection, and that was certainly the case here. I think that's going to be much less likely in the future, particularly as we take very seriously, as we should. I mean, when you talk about dropping drugs into people's drinks, one of the things that every guy in the country is thinking about is, what does he need to do that for? He's Bill Cosby. If he wants to go to bed with some girl in a different place, I mean, it is very, very disturbing, and I think that people are going to be much more aggressive in investigating these charges as they arrive.
A brief answer here. Are the media at the same time guilty of unfairly convicting Cosby without a trial?
I mean, this is what the media does, right? It's going to continue to be a circus, and every tweet that he puts out thanking supporters is going to get a lot of coverage. The first interview he ends up giving is going to be a big thing. I mean, this is how we do it.
All right. Michael Medved, thanks very much for getting up early in Seattle. Christina, stick around.